Hello, dear class 7 students. Welcome back to our science class. So we'll continue with lesson 11, okay? Transportation in plants and animals. So students, in the last class we have discussed about the circulatory system. And in the circulatory system, we'll study about the blood, we'll study about the blood vessels, and we'll study about the heart, right? So in our last class, we discussed about the composition of blood. Today we will discuss about the functions of blood. So students, these are the functions of blood. So blood, it transports substance like digested food, okay, the digested food from small intestine to the parts of the body, to all the other parts of the body. Okay, now students, the oxygen that we inhale, right? The oxygen we inhale, it is stored in the lungs, right? So it carries oxygen from the lungs to the cells of the body. Okay? Now it transport waste for removal from the body. Now students, the waste that are produced in our body, those are toxic, those are harmful. So it has to be released. So our blood helps us to remove, to release all this waste. Okay? Now, in our last class, we discussed about the plasma, which is a fluid. We discussed about the red blood cells. We discussed about the white blood cells and the platelet. Today, we will learn them in detail. Now, students, this is the red blood cells. Okay, this is the red blood cells. In our blood, in the composition of blood, plasma is maximum. The major portion is plasma, right? The fluid part is maximum, around 55%. After that, we have the red blood cells. Now, it is red in color, right? Because it contains red pigment called hemoglobin. Okay, it contains red pigment called hemoglobin. Now, because of this, it supplies oxygen. It supplies oxygen to all parts of the body. Clear? So you can have a look at this. Now, students, this is the white blood cells. Okay, this is white blood cells. This is found in less number in the composition of blood. Now, these white blood cells, they protect us, okay? They protect us. Now, there are many germs which get inside our body, right? So these white blood cells, they fight. They fight with these germs and all, and they protect us, okay? And then we have these platelets, okay? Platelets. Now, students, let me give you an example. Suppose if you get a cut, you can see blood, right? Now, after some times, what happened? You can see a blood clot, right? A dark red color, right? So that is because of these cells, which is present in the blood, that is platelets, which forms this blood clotting. Now, it is very important because if there is no platelets, then the flow of blood will not stop, right? You will see maximum flow of blood, and it can cause death because the bleeding will not stop, and it can be dangerous, and it can cause death. So you see how it protects us. Okay? So students, we have discussed about the composition of bloods and its functions. Once again, let's see the functions, okay? So these functions are very important. It transports substance like digested food from the small intestine to the other parts of the body, okay? Because the food that we eat, okay, they get digested and they're absorbed in the small intestine, right? So it has to be transported to all parts of the body, which is done by the blood, with the help of blood. Okay, now it also carries oxygen from the lungs to the cells of the body. Now, the third is it transport waste for removal. Okay, it transport waste for removal from the body. Now, students, the second type of the circulatory system, it is blood vessels. Now we have already studied that blood flows in the blood vessels, right? So these blood vessels will have three types, that is arteries, veins, and capillaries. Now these blood vessels, they are pipe-like, okay? They are like pipe. So we have three types, and they are arteries, veins, and capillaries. And all these three, they play a very, very important role. Okay, so students will discuss the three types of blood vessels one by one in detail. So first we'll discuss about the arteries. Okay, arteries. Now, arteries, they carry oxygen-rich blood. Okay, students, you have to remember this. Artery carry oxygen-rich blood from heart to all part of the body. Okay, now arteries, they lie deep under the skin and hence cannot be seen easily. Okay, so they are not seen easily. Our veins we can see, right? Our veins we can see, but these arteries, since they lie deep under the skin, they are not easily seen. Okay, now here in artery blood vessels, the blood flow is rapid. Okay, the blood flow is rapid and at high pressure. Okay, and at high pressure, the arteries have thick elastic walls. Okay, so arteries, they have thick elastic walls. Now you have to remember this, they carry oxygen-rich blood. Okay, they carry oxygen-rich blood from heart to all parts of the bodies. So you can see here, okay, you can see this diagram. You also have diagram in your textbook, so you can refer to it. Okay, so like I've said, blood vessels, blood flows in the blood vessels, and blood vessels, this is a pipe-like. Okay, you will see many connections there. So these arteries, they are not visible because they lie deep under skin. Okay, and the blood flow is rapid here. Okay, now let's discuss about the second blood vessels, that is veins. Okay, veins. So you can have a look here, students. Now, veins are the vessels which carry carbon dioxide rich blood. What about artery? Just now we discussed artery, right? They carry oxygen rich blood. Now, all our body parts, we need oxygen, right? So it is supplied through arteries, because arteries, they carry oxygen rich blood. But what about veins? Veins are the vessels which carry carbon dioxide rich blood. Okay, veins, they carry waste. Okay, waste, because carbon dioxide is released, right? In our previous chapter, we studied about the inhale and exhalation. We discussed about the inhale of oxygen and the release of carbon dioxide, right? So how are they released? So veins are the vessels which carry carbon dioxide rich blood from all parts of the body back to the heart. Okay, back to the heart. Now veins are less deep than arteries. That's why they can be easily seen. So veins are visible, right? Okay, so they are easily seen, unlike the arteries. Now they have thin walls. Okay, they have thin walls. In the arteries, we studied that they have thick walls, right? They have thick walls. But veins, they have thin walls because blood flows them at low pressure. Okay, blood flows them at low pressure. So now you know the difference between their walls, right? Arteries, they have thick walls, and the veins, they have thin walls. Okay? Now, students, there are valves present in the veins. Okay? Valves present in the veins, which allows blood to flow only towards the heart. So it prevents backflow of blood. Now you may be wondering, right? You may be wondering that how these veins, they carry this carbon dioxide and they go straight to the heart. Why there is no backflow of blood? It is because there are valves present in veins. Okay, because of the presence of valves, it prevents backflow of blood and it goes straight to the heart. Okay, and that is how it is released. Now, next, students, the third type of blood vessels, it is capillaries. Okay, so you can refer to this diagram here. Okay, so this is the third type of blood vessels. Now, capillaries are very, very tiny blood vessels. We have discussed about arteries and veins, right? Now, so capillaries, they are the tiniest one. Okay, so we can see here veins, they have thick walls, arteries, they have thin walls. But now when we see capillaries here, they have a tiny blood vessels. Okay, now you can see here. Now, the special thing about capillaries is it connects arteries and veins. Okay, it connects arteries and veins. And the primary, the major function of this capillary, okay, is the exchange of materials between blood and body cells. Okay, so you can note this one down, dear students. The primary functions of capillaries is the exchange. Okay, it is the exchange of materials between blood and body cells. So students, those are the three types of blood vessels. In the circulatory system, the first type is blood, which we have discussed. We have discussed about its composition. And second, we have discussed about the blood vessels, the three types of blood vessels such as veins, arteries, and capillaries. Okay? And students, arteries, you know difference between arteries, veins, and capillaries, right? Students, see, arteries, the main difference is they carry oxygen-rich blood. Okay? They carry oxygen-rich blood from heart to all parts of the body. Now, the veins, they carry carbon dioxide rich blood from all parts of the body back to the heart. And capillaries, they connect arteries and veins, right? So students, this is the different type of blood vessels. Now, the third circulatory system is heart. Okay, so students, the heart is an organ. The heart is an organ which beats continuously. Okay, which beats continuously? The heart is located in the chest cavity. In the chest cavity. Okay, its lower tip, now you can see, okay, its lower tip is slightly tilted towards the left, right? Its lower tip, okay, its lower tip is slightly tilted towards the left. Now it acts as a pump, okay? I'm sure you are familiar with pump, right? The word pump. So it acts as a pump, okay? The heart acts as a pump for the transport of blood, which carries other substance with it. Okay? So for diagram, you can refer your textbook as well. Now, dear students, heart has 4 chambers. Okay? Our heart has 4 chambers and it is very simple. Okay? So we have the left atrium. Second is we have the right atrium. The third chamber is the left ventricles. And the fourth chamber is the right ventricle. So you can have a look at these students. So dear students, see this upper part, okay, where we find the left atrium and the right atrium. This upper part is called atria. Okay, atria. And in the lower part we can see the right ventricle and the left ventricle, right? So the lower chambers are called ventricles. Okay? So students, it is not confusing, right? We have 4 chambers, okay? The heart have 4 chambers. Left atrium, right atrium, left ventricle, right ventricle. The upper part is called atria and the lower part is called ventricles. Okay? Now dear students, our next topic, heartbeat. Okay? Dear students, the walls, okay, the walls of heart is made up of muscles. Okay, it is made up of muscles. And these muscles contracts and relaxes rhythmically, producing heartbeat. Okay, so students, we can feel the heartbeat if we place, okay, if we place the hand on the left side of the chest. Okay, if we place the hand on the left side of the chest. And students, the human heart beats about 70 to 80 times per minute. You have to know this. Okay, the human heart beats about 70 to 80 times per minute. Okay, now students, have you seen this? What do we call this? What do we call this device? It is a stethoscope. Okay, it is used by doctors. And you know the reason why this is used? Students, so this stethoscope, it is a device used to hear the sound of heartbeats. Okay, whenever you go for a checkup and all, you'll see the doctor uses this stethoscope, this device. Okay, now you can see here, students, it has a chest piece right here. It has a chest piece, and here we can see it has 2 earpieces, right? So students, this is a stethoscope. Okay, so now if you are asked what is a stethoscope, the answer is very simple. It is a device used to hear the sound of heartbeat. Okay, so students, we have discussed about the circulatory system in the animals. We have discussed this in detail. In our next class, we'll discuss about the plants, which is going to be very interesting. Thank you. See you in the next class.